Been in the garage and finding some cute things to show. We have some cute dresses that your girls wore this week.
Oh, yeah. It's Gab and Gush on a Friday, y'all, here at Farmhouse Fabrics. Sally and Crystin here, and we have garage items, which is always fun. Sally's first smocking plate she ever purchased.
I found it in my garage.
We have ribbon techniques. We have how Sally attached the interfacing. We have our 2020 classic sewing lace dresses on display. So lots of fun stuff here for Gab and Gush.
And we want to inspire you. That's our goal today. And so, I mean, I think that we have a lot of really interesting things. This time of the year, we can go back, we can go back into the holiday issues and find all sorts of things that are inspirational. I hope you have your holiday issues of Classic Sewing Magazine, because you can pull them out, and then as the kids change in age, we were just talking about, this is from 2020, and how the girls have grown up just in those 2 years. And so then you can find patterns that might not have been appropriate at the time, but all of a sudden they're perfect.
It hits your eye.
Yeah,
definitely.
They're perfect.
So,
yeah.
Well, why don't we start with these lace dresses? So,
Okay.
Sally designed a dress particularly for a fabric with a scalloped edge.
Yeah.
So she used that at the hem and then also on the sleeve of the dress. So the pattern comes with the Classic Sewing 2020. It is the lace dress and slip. So it's really appropriate for this time of year because you can use it for like events or parties or dinners. It's a beautiful all year like wedding attire.
And simple.
Definitely.
And simple, yeah. But it works. It was just perfect for the girls. And when we made Chris's oldest daughter, Charlie, we made her dress in this gold lace. We'll show you. And I thought, oh, it needs a little shape to it. So then we came back and we added a ribbon sash, and then we took more pictures another day, just because she said, yeah, it's a little like a potato sack.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm so sorry, Charlie.
She's getting to that age where it matters, you know.
Yeah, it does matter.
So the pattern tells you how to address the hem and shape it for a scalloped edge, which a lot of the lace fabrics that we have, whether they are a delicate lace fabric or a more heavily embroidered, which makes like a thicker base for the fabric itself, most of them come with a scalloped edge. So yeah, it's a beautiful, very elegant. Actually, GT Designs, we shared it last Friday, I believe, showed us a picture of her daughter and her granddaughter in the same style dress.
It was beautiful.
It was very classy.
Beautiful. So this, our redhead, one of our redhead girls, Emma, wore this dress, and then we lined it in an A-line slip made out of silk, and so. Then with the slip, we put little loops on the shoulders to snap around the slip straps so that they didn't like come out in the pictures, and it held it in place. But really simple, really cute. But if you sew with, we don't have any out here, but if you sew with a lace fabric that has sequins and beads, what you have to do is once you cut your pieces out. You go sit down with your seam ripper and you pull out all the little beads and lace of the beads and sequins that would be at the seam allowance line, because if you hit one of those, you know you're going to break a needle. So that takes a little time, but it's really pretty.
But the effects are worth it.
Yeah.
So we have been inspired by y'all's makes, particularly So Great to Know, Kimberly Hudsmith. She made, using this green lace fabric, she made it looks to be just like an A-line.
Sleeveless.
Is it a sleeveless?
I think
it's got sleeves.
It's got a little.
Yeah. So it's a gorgeous, elegant woman's dress.
Yeah.
So adult sewing or even down to children, we made a size 2. It really is very appropriate. Also in the same fabric, Two Posh Toddlers, Tara from Two Posh Toddlers.
Had a maxi, right?
Did I not print it?
Well, I didn't
oh my
see
gosh,
that
it was like a
one.
princess dress. It was so perfect.
Yeah, that was, and I think she probably had netting or something on it. But it was just it held out real beautiful.
It was really pretty.
It was really pretty.
Yeah. So, whether sewing for a special occasion for a woman or for a child, lace fabric really, it adds a punch element.
kind of nice with this lace because it's machine washable. And so then you can sew it for the children. Don't have to worry about it. It doesn't have to be dry cleaned.
It comes out beautifully.
Yeah, it does.
Ready to wear even
does.
after being worn. So even this delicate lace, is this in the Chantilly world? It's not delicate enough?
I don't know. That's a good question because I just don't have. It looks like spider webs to me. It's so gossamer looking, isn't it?
So, if you ever think you know something about lace, Google it. And then you'll be like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, we don't know
even
anything.
one stitch different on the overlap creates a totally different lace, but it all looks very similar. But
you can see that it does have kind of an outline thread that's a little heavier, creating the design. And
which is exactly how we described it, I'm sure.
We probably did
Chantilly
say
look.
that. Yeah, but it's this is a good strong lace also, even though it looks real fine.
But it has like a romantic feel because it's more delicate. But even in sewing for children, so here's a picture of a 2-year-old wearing a very delicate looking lace fabric, and it really shows up beautifully, and it's not too like I'd want to say sexy, like it doesn't give that appeal, even though it's a very delicate lace. So
it's sweet.
It is sweet still. Yeah.
So she's almost 5 now.
Yeah.
And she put that on the other day and wore it over leggings.
Oh man, y'all. She's into dressing herself. So
she can really dress herself.
She had some rainbow pants, leggings with some other dress on, and she wore it kind of like a lace overlay.
Oh yeah,
as a top. It was cute.
She's fun. She's a lot of fun.
Who else do we have?
Well, I want to show this along the same line, and I have made this many times. This is a PDF pattern from Jilly Atlanta called the Birdie Dress. And this is a sweet dress. This one I actually made using a fabric that had sequins and beads. So that's how I know. And we had sequins and beads all over the floor for a long time. But this is Jilly Atlanta. It's PDF Pattern Company. And it's called the Birdie Dress. And it has a really pretty fluttery sleeve. And so...
sleeveless options. She also has like a crossbody style cut for the birdie.
So this is a great pattern. So I wanted to recommend that to you.
Okay.
Oh, this
was a fun. So I mean, really, I want to talk about these because they are very beautiful. They sew up beautifully, but you might not see that by looking at the picture of it. But the finished product is gorgeous.
So this I lined the bodice and the skirt in black, and then we had a black velveteen collar, and a little black bias around the wrist.
It was so perfect. Yeah. It's one of her favorites for sure.
She loves red. She's a red girl, and so it looked beautiful. But I know you've watched this, right?
Oh yes,
yeah. Because she's worn it, and anyway, it turned out really cute. And so because this isn't. It may look delicate, but it's not delicate. You can gather it, you can pleat it, you can, I want to say you can abuse it really, but...
Not iron it.
Yeah, not iron it. It's not wrinkly. You're right about that. Yep. That's right. And it makes a beautiful dress.
So there's our lace fabric inspirations for y'all.
I wanted to show you did I show this? With the gold? Yeah, when we made Charlie's dress the first time, I'm going to let you look at it here. And I mean, she's such a pretty girl with a pretty shape, and it just was a little too loose. And so I pulled out this gold silk satin ribbon, and it was actually like the perfect color with it. I don't know if you can tell in the picture, but I mean, it looked beautiful. And so we tied it up, cinched it up at the waist. And then we pinched up there we go. Then we pinched up her sleeves a little bit and put a silk satin ribbon bow at the wrist. And so totally changed the look. And very simple. We didn't have to do anything to the dress.
So no longer a potato sack.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. And she felt good about it too. Yeah.
So even that, it's like a cheat. That's a cheat way to add some shape to an A-line dress.
Yes.
And depending on your fabric and how full it is, the lace fabric did beautifully with that.
So this silk satin ribbon is color number 128. And Really, really beautiful gold color.
So this week, Sally has been digging in her garage. So what did you go hunting for?
Well, my youngest son Daniel and his family are here from Australia, and I mentioned that to you before. And so he said he's a real neat, tidy person, and they've moved quite a bit, and so he's learned to like purge his stuff. He does like to collect things, though. He is a little bit of a collector. But anyway, he said, "Hey, Mom, I've been in the garage, and you know, if we move some of these boxes around and I put them up on the shelves and I put things together, you'd have more space." And I'm like, And his wife said, "Daniel, I don't think she wants you to do that." Anyway, so this morning, before I came to work, I thought I'm going to go in the garage and work on some things. And so he'll be proud of me, right? But anyway, what did I find?
It was a blast from the past in there, y'all.
It was a blast from the past. First of all, I came across this cute vintage pattern, and look at those bell bottoms. So this is Simplicity 8170, and it's got the cutest little top with just a strap across the back that buttons.
Did anyone wear this or have their mother sew it for them?
That's right. Do you recognize it? Mm-hmm. I know my granddaughters are all, Charlie came with the bell bottoms the other day, and they're all wearing their bell bottoms. And so when I saw that, I thought, this is a cute pattern. And
there's nothing new under the sun, right?
No, nothing new under the sun.
That's cute.
Look at that. So you can go look for this pattern.
So along those same lines, she was tromping around down there and found her first purchase smocking plate.
This is the first picture smocking I ever did. And this is from Terry Jane Collins, 1988, Terry Jane Incorporated. And it's called Rocking Horse. So I'll show you this. And I actually, that's what Crystin said, well, was it on a pleated strip? Because, it's like once I get that far, I don't feel like finishing up, right?
I thought she actually found the strip is what I was thinking.
So I actually made this into a dress for my brother's daughter, Ashley, who's now a grown woman.
None of that is confirmable, though, right now.
But I have seen pictures of her as a 2-year-old, maybe.
That's awesome.
Wearing this. And so then I am a little politically minded, and I must have been into something political at the time, because I'm reading all this little handwriting that said, "Here's the White House Chief of Staff number. Call them and tell them you oppose blah, blah, blah." And I thought, wonder what I was opposing at that time. So I was smocking and calling the White House.
Yeah. Serious matters.
Yeah. Isn't that a cute pattern, though? That's just so cute with the mane all in loops.
I love that.
Yeah, that's really
that 3D
sweet.
effect
And then
is sweet.
The tail is 3D. So that's...
So Sally made hers hairless, in case you're wondering.
I wonder how I did.
I know.
I'm wondering that.
There's no way that you did it just like that pattern.
I don't know. The hard part is actually making 3 to look exactly the same.
Who was just saying that? How difficult that is.
It's much easier if you have 3 figures in picture smocking if they're all doing something different, because it's hard to get them,
where you're not looking at that one that has that head crooked a little bit.
Your tension might be funny, and then maybe you get better and better as you go along. By the time you're the third one, it's like, you look good.
Yeah.
You look good.
So this week we had a photo shoot. We like to shoot here at one of our local parks, and it's really beautiful because it has open fields and a beautiful porch that we can picture on. Sally went to sewing on some new arrival floral fabrics, and she paired it with the Creative Keepsakes 90-minute pinafore. So
this is the 90-minute pinafore.
It's so pretty.
And you might not recognize it on here. Well, I'm going to tell you, I really should sit down and make it just out of a plain piece of fabric without lining it, interfacing, putting lace, doing all. And maybe I could make it in 90 minutes, but there is no way I made this dress in 90 minutes. But I can sew pretty quickly. But I love this dress. I've made this dress another time for Kristin's daughter, Farron, in a pink, like a 1-inch gingham, and it was adorable. But I remember that it ran roomy, right? And so this is actually a size 2, because
For June?
For
Yeah.
June. June is a size 2. And you can see, if you get this pattern, read what the finished length is, because the reason I made this a maxi, because I cut it out according to the measurements, and I thought, oh, this is really long. But
So was it T length?
it's a T length. And so, you know, we're not really doing T length these days. We're more at the knee. But I thought,
Or ankle.
Ankle. This is kind of pretty this way. And so I thought, well, let's make it maxi. And so we had this Swiss edging come in.
So this is like a pale yellow background floral. It's 100% cotton and imported. We have 3 different colorways, and a corally red, this blue, and also a pink. We're touting this as like the flower girl dress, because with the beautiful front, it also has such an interesting back as well, with a crossover little button. And then also Sally added the sash. Was this an option, like a sash option?
Actually,
so
there is a sash option. Yeah, pattern variations. It shows a sash out of fabric, I think.
But you did a side seam back bow instead of the sash.
I did. And we didn't put a sash on Farron's, but once we got these done, I thought, I wonder how that'll look with the ribbon.
It has that front interest and then also that back interest that you often go for with flower girls.
Right, because you see them walking up the aisle, and you're like, look at that little V back. And then the way the ruffles come down at an angle. This pattern is so cool. I'm telling you. I'm going to show you what the pattern pieces look like, because there's no shoulder seam here.
So last summer when Sally made this dress, she was saying it was in the pink and the white gingham. She also added a lace edging, just as you see here. So it's a great summertime. I mean, really, it's a spring through summer dress easily. And we still have kits available for that if you're interested in sewing from a kit.
Can you believe that? These are the 2 pattern pieces for the bodice, right here and right here. And so when you put them together, they have kind of a little bit of a princess line, but they come in right down here to the waist, and then they angle over the shoulder. And this pattern piece is on the center front. So I made
wow.
Yeah.
So are you actually flipping that piece for the other side, or does it have a left and right?
You cut two of. Let's see. You cut this piece on the center, on the fold, right here. This is the center front.
So that becomes your front.
And then this piece, you cut on the straight of the grain right here, and then it angles toward the back right here. And then here are your little notches that you have to match up.
Look at that line. That is so cool.
Isn't that neat?
Yes.
And so, but I started sewing that together. And I didn't put the ruffle in yet. So you have to put your ruffle in here before.
But then also for the other side, I mean, once this is cut on the fold, you have that other line created. Does this then flip to become the other side?
You cut 2 of these.
How cool.
And so when I first did it, I thought this fabric is really lightweight. And I think it needs to be interfaced on the bodice. The whole bodice should be interfaced, like with a baby interfacing. And so I cut my little pattern pieces out, and then I went to my interfacing, and I cut my interfacing pieces out.
So at this point, you've got 15 different pieces, fabric and interfacing.
And then I had to keep thinking, okay, which is the bottom, front, the back, and all this. And I would put pins on it and put a little mark on it so that I didn't lose it. And I really have been scrubbing my house with bleach, and my hands have been so dry that all my interfacing, I kept picking it up with my rough hands. It was so frustrating. So after I did that with the first one, I'm like, I'm so dumb.
Never again.
I'm so dumb. Look at here. Why don't I just figure out how much I need to cut all the bodice pieces and interface the square? I mean, that was like, oh my goodness, what is the matter with you? This, you guys, this is my lifesaver. Well, this is the third.
You'll want to have 100 pieces because then they're all finished.
And so then, because then here you are trying to match your your pieces and not have them overlap and not have your interfacing stuck to your
Oh my
ironing board.
Goodness.
And
right.
it's-
And
it
then you have
hangs
to
off a
iron
little-
that. Yes. Yeah.
And so I just cut a piece to fit a square. And this is going to be the third little dress for little Rosemary from Australia. And so we can get three girls together. And then I interfaced with baby interfacing my whole piece. And I used a pressing cloth, which is a piece of cotton organdy. I put that on there and held it down like 10 seconds, moved it 10 seconds, 10 seconds until it was really adhered. I flipped it over and then I pressed it from the right side. I didn't need my pressing cloth for that because this is just all cotton. And so then I can go, like it's all interface. It's so much quicker. I tried to find a center flower so that I could put it in the middle of the bodice. You know, maybe fold it in half here. And
Definitely Laura Hilton and Cookie Bar come to mind now.
and so yeah, it's like I'm trying to line up my flowers. Anyway, and then when you cut it out, it's all interfaced. Everything's done. Then you're ready to just sew your
That's smart.
Ruffle.
Well,
Yeah.
Jeanette is loving all of the items so far. She's got a lot of comments. She says she loves the dresses and the pattern so much. She thought it was voile, what you were showing.
The reason I bought this is because it looks like a voile we had one time. Yeah.
And she said it would be wonderful flower girl
They
pattern.
would. It's so
so
sweet.
too.
I mean, can you imagine an all white dress with this lace edging and the back? That would be so pretty.
And even like a big organdy sash, you know, going down the back.
I mean, you could have some kind of eyelet flounce would be really pretty.
At the photo shoot on Wednesday, we had like a perfect day for it because a little bit of chance of rain, but it was overcast, but enough so that the pictures were beautiful. And the girls were, the girls would hold hands and run down, and you see them from the back, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is so cute. This is so cute.
Well, we got a question.
Yeah.
We want to know how much of the eyelet trim did it take?
Well, I can tell you exactly what it took for the eyelet trim. Here's this big wide eyelet trim that I used. So this is the 1/2 of the ruffle piece. So let's see.
So to go into the seam.
To go into the seam. So that is, so I had to lay it like this to cut one. I tried to get all my little scallops lined up so that they ended at the same place down here. And so here's my ruffle piece. It's shaped like this, and this part goes on the fold. This is on the fold, and so I laid it on my scalloped edge.
I'm just gonna shift you.
Okay, yep. And so the straight part is on the scalloped edge, and then this part right here that you cut at an angle, that's the part that's gathered, and you gather that up and put that in the seam. And so let me just see. Each one of these up to a 4. I would say, I mean, probably 1 yard on each for each ruffle here, and then however full you decide to make your lining, I just sewed that on straight.
So there were so many different cool things I think Sally did to create this, and the lining, and then also the fullness, how you addressed all those different aspects was so cool to me. Even that you chose. Is this a poly cotton?
It's a polyester taffeta.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a polyester taffeta, so it's wash and wear.
Well, and then also it's stiffer, so it's going to hold out that under layer when you're wanting that full effect. I thought that was such an awesome fabric choice.
And I think the girls like that feel and that swishy sound.
I do. They love that.
They put it on. And so we had our first fitting on Tuesday night at the North Augusta Recreation Department in the bathroom, in the ladies' bathroom.
The girls came out and
on.
they were twirling.
Yeah,
That was fun.
And they didn't want to take it off, and I thought, okay, this is real promising. And so then when we met the photographer, and they were all happy and fine, and were like, we're going to have a really good day. She had given us an hour, and they were so great that we were done in like 15 or 20 minutes. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to show you. I know Kristen did a reel that was just so cute. And anyway, so I made the lining. I mean, I think I made it like 45 in the front and 45 in the back because that's what this fabric is. So that would require then 2.5 yards of this lace because I just sewed it on flat. And once I sewed it on,
so we kind of went for a April showers, bring Mayflowers kind of effect. And so we were thinking very full, very girly. Yeah, you sewed it on. And
then I thought, I think the lace was hanging out a little too far. To me, when I look at things, it either appeals to me or it doesn't. And so I asked, I said, isn't that's maybe too much lace hanging out? And the girls were like, yeah, I think a little too much. So then I came in and I put.
And she said, "I'm never seam ripping this thing.
I'm not.
I'm not going around this 2.5 yards of seam."
So I put a tuck in the lining, and then I thought, oh my goodness, I put it really in the right place, like if this was an outside dress, but because the finished seams face the inside of the garment, I don't know, the tuck made it kind of draw in instead of poof out. And I thought, oh, no.
So you lost your effect of your lining.
Yes. And so then that's when I said, okay, we have horsehair braid. So.
Well, good, because Jeanette said, did you use horsehair edging in the dress hem, or did I just jump ahead?
No,
you're right on cue.
You're right on cue. So we've got 1 inch, and we have this 5/8 inch. And so here's the horsehair braid. It's real bouncy.
So we have someone that sews nearby here at Farmhouse, and she does like ball gown type sewing. And she is very familiar and has been asking for us to get this for forever. So is that the first time you've started using horsehair braid, or did you use it in your...
Probably, when I was doing custom sewing, I used it some, but I haven't used it much. But I noticed a lot of even the PDF pattern companies like Lori Hilton and the Peony Patterns, and when they're making full dresses, they'll put up some. Yeah, they do, because it's super lightweight. It's not itchy, and you can see how bouncy it is. And I thought, all right, I'm going to go in and sew this. I just zigzagged it on right above the where I attached the lace to the garment, and I think it did give. Well, you can see it kind of holds it up. And so if we just kind of poofed out the dress, it would stay poofed out. It was pretty.
But I do
this
love,
is nice.
Like, it makes me laugh too, because you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
No one's going to see it. If they do see it, they're not going to know that it's not supposed to look that way.
Look,
I mean,
You
nobody.
see zigzags, you see a tuck.
Exactly. Right.
Everything.
But it totally works.
Well, it was fun. And on this one had a much deeper hem because, well, there was just a lot more fabric to work with. And I'm like, I'm not going to cut it off. I'm just going to make a deeper hem. And I was thinking, I don't want to sit here and hand sew this hem. So I used my blind hammer. I used my blind hammer on this, but I used a fine DMC 50 weight thread to use the blind hammer. And when it was ironed, let me see if we flip it over, you can see it really doesn't show. It doesn't pucker.
Okay.
It doesn't pucker at all.
Honestly, it looks whipped. It looks like a hand whipped.
So
edge.
You might think you cannot use a blind hammer on this lightweight fabric. It worked great. It worked great. And I think it was better than trying to top stitch or anything like that.
I thought you went for a deeper, classier hem.
Well,
actually.
That's right. Then I was kind of disappointed when this one was only 1.5 inches. And so this, on this dress, on the little one, there's not as much lace, but I did go back in and put the horsehair braid on there.
Did you use the narrower one?
I could have used the 1 inch though, but
I love those details.
Anyway, it swishes, and then starting to dig through the ribbons to try and find a ribbon that works. And if you've ever put a ribbon sash on a child, then sometimes it's just sagging way down, and it's like, what am I gonna do? And so anyway, I put see if we can see that. Can you see that? I did a finger crochet loop, and on the back here, just to the right of the center. So when I pull that through and then we tie a bow, it keeps it from sagging and dropping way down. Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
And I was looking up how to pronounce this because I never know how to pronounce this. So, let me know if I do it right. Did you have to change the arm side to fit as a dress rather than a pinafore?
Actually, I
Going
didn't.
down the size address that?
I understand what you're asking, but I didn't change that because it worked fine on Farron when I made it, and it's actually shown.
Yeah,
Isn't it shown
it has
as,
both.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and it's shown as a dress and as a pinafore, and it wasn't way dropped down for the girls.
It
Did
never.
you feel like
I
it
never
was?
saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
No, I didn't change the shape of that at all. You might think you'd have to raise it up if you're not going over a blouse, but it worked fine for me. Yeah. So anyway, so I already had interfacing on the bodice, so I didn't have to double interface it where the buttons and buttonholes went. But I did use my tearaway under my buttonhole when I made it, and then after I got rid of my blue marks, I did use fray check, and then when that dried, then I cut my buttonhole, and then it's a nice looks, pretty good buttonhole, but looked like I was in a hurry. I didn't get rid of all my blue marks.
It's a blue dress. Who cares?
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not going to show.
So, Sally has a demonstration on how she actually finger crocheted the loop. But before we get into that, I'm going to clear off our table a little bit by showing y'all a few of the dresses or sewing kits that we've been creating. I've got to watch them put a couple of these together, and they are so pretty. The Little Snowdrift by Judith Marquis has been something that we have sewn with and seen people use. It really makes up beautifully for many different seasons. So they have it styled with a Liberty of London. This
Called Elizabeth.
This is the Elizabeth Liberty of London, and the kit is also, we're calling it Elizabeth. So here at Farmhouse, we offer all the parts and pieces to create the look. So we are going to give y'all a picture, a digital design of what this dress looks like, and tell y'all everything that we used or is necessary to actually sew the dress.
One of my favorite Liberties is Elizabeth.
It's really
I
beautiful,
love
y'all.
the rosebuds, the roses. They're so pretty, and we've had it in many different colorways. It's gorgeous.
So also another thing, a variation that can be done is to do an unsmocked or to actually just gather this dress here, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
So what other kits do we have over there?
Well, this is called Pink Dreamy Sophia. Pink Dreamy Sophia.
Ooh, is that like
Yeah.
loungewear?
Well, it's really not. It's really a beautiful heirloom dress.
Oh, I
So
see. It is dreamy.
This was based on a dress that Connie Palmer made for us many years ago, and so it's got Swiss edging around the. Let's see. I think it has a little flutter sleeve out of Swiss edging, Swiss edging at the bottom. And then
upturned
the
on the
cool thing, she put it across the bodice with the loops, the scallops going up. And so that's, not very much of it, but just
is
to
it
go
flat across the bodice?
It's flat across the bodice
That's
with the
pretty.
scallops going up. It's just a really cute design detail. So anyway, that will all be in a digital design. And
we're having to jump the gun, y'all. They are so pretty when they come together, and they're beautiful, and we describe them and everybody understands what we're saying. We've got to show them to y'all. So
I'm like, this is pretty. That's what I said to Christy. Don't you have some new kits? I need to bring them down and show them. This is pretty. This is that beautiful pink royal twill. It's gorgeous. I mean, I know
royal because they don't always come through like this, and the quality is spectacular.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So we like to send out a newsletter every Tuesday and Friday. If you are not signed up for that, you can do so on the homepage of our website at farmhousefabrics.com. We call it the best way to stay up with the latest and the greatest. Definitely featuring these kits. I love this combination.
This one's called Fruit Punch. This is really pretty.
It is
I think
pretty.
Hope went and nabbed this floral. Did you do that, Michelle, or did Hope? Hope did it.
No,
Did
I hope to that.
This is pretty. Oh my goodness.
So we've got a Liberty and
Yeah.
one of our new piquets coordinated here.
So here, I'm going to hold this up to show what it's going to look like. We have overhead for Facebook, but not for Instagram. I'm sorry. But anyway, this is beautiful together.
So this is based off of the Anna Catherine, and it has this round yoke variation. It's one of our favorite patterns because the A-line is such a staple look, and there are so many different variations included from the Bonnie Blue Designs version, Anna Catherine.
And it's 3 months to 6 years in the same pattern.
That's awesome.
This is one of our top selling patterns. Yeah.
So one thing that we always or typically include in our kits is an interfacing to give structure to the bodice or the yoke or the collar, the cuffs, the placket. So that's one of those parts and pieces that we include to create this look as
That's
well.
right. There'll be thread and buttons, the interfacing, any trims that we use will be included. This is cute.
It is super cute.
This is cute.
So, when you decide to do one of those little finger crochet, because you talked about it twice today, so you use it under like if a dress has a slip,
Yes.
if it can keep it in place,
Yes.
and then also for a sash. So it's more for like having some part of the dress be stabilized, or it's
I
like
think so. I think so.
a structuring kind of aspect.
Yeah, with some of and in fact, you can do this for yourself. If you have like a dress that's a boat neck or something, and your bra strap keeps coming out, you can make a little loop that goes underneath and at the shoulder seam, and then you can put it around your strap and snap it to the shoulder seam of your garment. And so that it holds it in place, and you don't have to worry about.
We offer those little tiny metal snaps, and I know that typically is your preference,
It
unless
is. Yeah,
unless there's a little tiny plastic one sitting beside Sally's table, and then she's going to use that one.
I for some reason I really don't care for the little plastic snaps. Although
You sew
I
with
was
them.
trained here in the South to use them on the smocked garments, but they don't seem to hold as well for me. I mean, sometimes they don't snap as well, and so I'm just telling you, I like the metal snaps. And
They're they're just tiny, like eighth or
doll
less.
size,
I mean,
yeah.
tiny.
So I have nothing here that matches, but that way you can see this. So let's say we have a garment. Let's say this is the back of the garment. This is the center back, and maybe this is a side seam over here. And so I have a ribbon that comes around. I don't want my ribbon to be way up high like this and above the seam. I really want it to come and cover my seam. Now the ribbon I used on these dresses was maybe like an inch wide, something like this. This is more like 5/8. And so what I do when I sew my ribbon to the side seam, I actually bring it down. Are we right here? And I actually cover. I don't put it up above it. I actually cover the sides, the bodice and skirt seam. I cover it a little bit, and so at least it starts in the right direction. And then you can sew it into your side seam, but sometimes I make the decision to have a sash as an afterthought, and so at that point, I top
Glad
stitch
I'm
it.
not the only one.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Should I do it? Should I not? The whole time I'm thinking, I don't know. What should I do here? What should I do? How should I change
It needs
this?
something
What-
else. Now that I've added the lace
Yeah,
on the
that's-
shoulder, I
that's
feel like the back
right.
looks
I think
less.
that, so that when you do it the second time, it was like a lot faster. So anyway, so this is going to be my center back right here. Here is a needle and a double thread. I've run it through my needle and knotted it. And so I'm going to come from the back, and I'm actually going to start maybe 1/4 of an inch below the bodice, below the bodice seam. And I'm coming up from behind, and then I don't want it to come loose. So I'm going to knot it. If it tangles, I stick my finger in here to keep it from tangling.
So you're using a polyester thread?
I am, yeah. Polyester thread is strong. And so I'm going to run it through here 2 or 3 times because that ribbon's going to pull on that. So let me get that. So now run it through the 3rd time. And I've already got my finger in here to keep it from tangling. So all I have to do now is reach inside of here, grab a hold of that thread, pull it, reach through my loop, grab a hold of that thread and pull it. 2, 3, whoops.
So we've got 4 hands up here. How are you doing this? Are you holding it between your knees to...
Well, yeah, good question. And then usually I count how many with the dresses that I just made had 36. I did 36 times to go across that ribbon.
Is this because there's nothing else to do, or you know that number is like magic?
No, I did 36 and I thought that looks good. I need to remember it for the next one. and so once I do several of these, then I'm gonna.
So you're grabbing it and pulling it back through and just cinching it down.
Just reaching through that loop like that.
Do it a little bit slower. I feel like, yep.
And then I'm opening it with my thumb and reaching it with my finger, pulling it through, open with my thumb.
So there's no teeth used here.
Not on this one. And
look how easy that is.
yeah, it's very easy. So now let's say I'm going to look. Is that going to fit over the top of here? Yeah. That's going to fit. So then you can see that's going to fit over my ribbon right here.
So then you would have this coordinated look, and so then this would be your finished product.
So yeah, I went to find thread that matched. Then to knot it, I just put my thread back through that loop and oh dear, it's gonna. Well, I'm just gonna do that.
Flopped right on top of you. So.
We're gonna pretend that loop isn't there.
Crystin said it's a running slip knot.
Is that what it is? Ah. Anyway, so ignore this loop because I wasn't hanging on to it. And then I go up here and secure it.
So, or if you messed up, you can just squish it down in there.
I know.
It doesn't really look bad.
Vicky said my mother made these for buttons on my dresses.
Yes,
bishop
yes.
backs.
When she
Yes.
was little,
Yes.
so she didn't have to make buttonholes.
That's
Yes.
right. So then you just pull your needle through to the back and secure it back here. And I hate that I have this loop here because that looks so messy, but guess what? We're reality here. And so then you have a button loop that you can run your ribbon through.
I put this other dress right on top of you though, so that's
Here we go, just like this.
very cool.
And that's not there. Or pretend that's not there.
I get it. That's awesome.
And so then, you know, it covers it might come up a little bit, but I didn't see it wasn't a problem on the girls' dresses.
Well, also I feel like it holds that bow in place better.
Yeah, it did.
Without
actually.
having to knot it and
Right,
retie it.
right.
I mean, honestly, we were out there an hour, and the entire time
They
this
never
didn't
came
come
undone.
untied. Yeah,
I think because it's a Petersham ribbon.
also. Yeah.
You know what? I should tell you one other thing I did on this ribbon. You can see it more on here, but I actually once I cut it, when I trimmed it, I took my fray check and I ran just a bead of fray check on it, and it's a little bit darker right here. I could even trim it a little more, but it's not going to show much. And that way, it's not gonna come undone. And so I put a little fray check on the bottom.
So it prevents the raveling.
It prevents raveling. Yeah, yeah. The other one doesn't show much, but this with the blue, it does have a little
Cast of color.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one really doesn't show much.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I did on that.
So 90 minutes later,
Yeah.
and you can have that done. It's the 180-minute pinafore with Sally
I'm
Winter.
telling you what. I'm going to show you something else I found in my garage. I've been looking for this for a long time. I knew I had this book. And actually,
It only took Daniel from Australia.
I know. And I have the original. This is from Dover Publications, Old Fashioned Ribbon Trimmings and Flowers by Mary Brooks Picken. And I love her things. When did she originally write? Oh my goodness, back in, I don't know, this was reprinted in 1993, but this is very, very old. And there are so many ideas in here. If you go to Dover Publications, you can get reprinted old craft books that are so awesome, and even old pattern ideas and things like that, and they're really inexpensive.
So you're talking about going to their online, and they will send you a reprinted copy of something?
And you can order them. Yeah,
Right.
I used to
didn't
get
realize
catalogs
that.
from them, but they have really neat ways that you can manipulate ribbons to make beautiful embellishments. And now that I found it, I have to put it somewhere where I can find it again.
So we carry thousands of laces. I mean, anyone that we can get our hands on that we like, we have it in stock. But this is like that way that you can add that delicateness or a flair and not have to spend,
That's exactly
$50 on your lace to add it to the dress.
That's right.
I mean, this ribbon work is so
It's
beautiful.
beautiful.
And sometimes it's exactly what you need. I mean, you just need a little bit of color somewhere else in the dress, and it's really pretty.
That's so funny because prices everywhere have gone sky high. I mean, we're having company right now for a few weeks, and so I'm at the grocery store a lot more, and I'm way more aware than when my kids were at home. And so you just have to think about ways, how can you save money and still have the things that you like? And I started making a list, and you're gonna think it's crazy, but probably because I've been buying cleaning supplies too, and so I thought, well, what did my mom use? Because my mom and dad grew up in the Depression time, and so they really were conservative, but they used things for cleaning like that powder, Comet and Ajax, and that they're
Comet,
like
actually.
$1, $1, and they last forever.
Borax.
And yes, and so this morning, before I did a lot of work up the house this morning. I'm like scrubbing the bathtub and making the bathroom
As long as you
pretty.
didn't brush your teeth with that stuff, we're good.
And then I thought, I'm going to look up price differences and things. And they're so, I mean, you can buy some fancy spray thing, and it's really fun to use. But my goodness, for $1,
I love Clorox.
you can get, and Clorox. Oh my goodness, it just is great. And so
So if you want to spend, it's more time involved in the ribbon embellishment, but it is a cost saver.
You know what it makes me think of? Abby Wilkinson from Dress Them Dearly, Abby D. Wilkinson. You can go to her blog and to her Instagram and Facebook page. Just made a blouse where she did fabric manipulation.
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
So cute, you guys. You've got to go see it. But it makes me think it's the same thing because she didn't add any extra trim, but it's really, really unique, the fabric manipulation that she did. And it's kind of like that old-fashioned smocking where you pick things up here and then bring them over here.
It's
and
like
all
a
this.
honeycomb effect.
Yeah, that's right. It's great. So there are lots of things you can do. You can use a really nice piece of fabric, but not have to put a lot of lace on it. Make it
stunning and make it look very embellished, beautiful.
Yeah. I felt kind of proud of myself for looking up prices of, like, for one thing, when my husband had to have some surgery after a skin cancer, and the doctor said, you would think they would give some super expensive medicine. He said, put Vaseline on it. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Petroleum jelly.
Petroleum jelly is so cheap. And so I had some expensive thing for healing ointment in my supply, and I went and looked, and I'm like, what's the active ingredient? Petroleum jelly. Oh, you're so dumb. I paid like $13 for that, and up here we've got Vaseline for what, $2. So there's your saving tip for today.
Save money.
Yeah, save money.
Do ribbon
Save money.
embellishment.
That's right.
Called Dover Printing.
That's right. That's right. Oh my goodness. So you guys cracked me up with your responses to our question, and we're like, we didn't really have a sewing question, but
My favorite was Michelle Copeland. She said, I'm a hairy girl. And I thought, I can relate to that. My mom let me shave my legs at 10. She was like, go ahead, Kristen. It's time.
Well, one of you said that I think it was your daughter at 6 was putting lip gloss on her eyelids to make them shiny. And
Oh, cute.
Yeah. And so anyway, it was cute. It was fun to read your responses and interesting. So that was for a drawing. And so once a week we have a drawing, and we have a little pile of things. Today is National Chocolate Day or something, Emma told me. And so we do have a piece of chocolate microcheck in here. And
This is
we
an
have
awesome
snacks.
bundle.
There's some really
This is
good
an
things in
awesome
here.
Giveaway.
Christmas ribbons,
Yep.
bundles. And so anyway, thanks for responding.
Thanks for shaving.
Yeah. And I said I always look forward to Fred Ferris, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to hear something from Fred Ferris at this one, because I asked you about when did you start shaving your
wild-
legs?
yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. Let's see who's the winner. The winner is, Darlene Pokora. I was in junior high when started trying makeup. I really didn't wear it much. And just for photos throughout her life. And so anyway, I was thinking another thing, I stopped wearing lipstick when I was doing custom sewing, because I always put my pins in my mouth. And I pull it out.
You've
and
got such great lips for lipstick. That's such a shame.
Man, but I
guess it made your projects.
Well, there were little red marks on there, on all my stuff, so I thought I can't do that. So anyway, Darlene, thank you for entering. Thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. And
More comments for you.
oh, we have comments.
Jessica says, save money, buy lace. And then Ross says, save money and buy fabric.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. There you go.
Thanks,
Yeah,
y'all. Definitely.
Yeah. Yep. Use your comment and buy some lace.
Right. All
Yeah.
right, y'all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Don't share it. I'm going to add it.